Aye. Brother Examiner, these men who have accepted the fellowship we offer now present themselves for admission into our brotherhood. They are ready to receive instruction in the solemn and irrevocable pledges which they are about to take.
It is fitting that you receive instruction in these pledges, so laden with responsibility and fertile opportunity. They bring to you lifelong relations of friendship and of brotherhood, with duties you will not easily avoid, and with privileges you can receive on no other terms. This fraternity will serve as your college home. Those who dwell here will be your brothers, your counselors, and your protectors. Their influence will mold your character and your future. You rarely ask much of your brotherhood, to which you would give yourselves without impediment or reserve. They rightly ask of you not to surrender yourselves without full realization of meaning and the finality of the pledges you are ready to take. Before proceeding to such instruction, however, it will first be necessary to make certain preliminary declarations.
Do you, on your honor, declare that you are members of no college fraternity and are pledged to none but this? If so, answer I do after your name is called. Ben Burns.
I do.
Aiden Cluse.
I do.
Christian Chung.
I do.
Jake Curry.
I do.
Jack Federer.
I do.
Do you also, on your honor, declare that you entertain no sentiment toward any member of this chapter that would prevent you from maintaining cordial and brotherly relations with him? If so, answer I do after your name is called. Ben Burns.
I do.
Aiden Cluse.
I do.
Christian Chung.
I do.
Jack Federer.
I do.
Jake Curry.
I do.
Of those who would enter our fraternity, we ask two things: that they know our ideals, and that they pledge themselves to help us realize those ideals. We have instructed you in the history and of the principles of our brotherhood. We have told you of the early secret fraternities, of the evil that attended their control of student affairs, and of the sentiment hostile to themselves, which they bred. We have explained the origin of anti-secret societies at Williams, Union, Hamilton, and Amherst, and of the coalition between them, which, in 1847, marks a vigorous advance of Delta Upsilon. As time passed, the character of the secret society so altered that hostility towards them decreased. Delta Upsilon recognized a happier period by adopting the principle of non-secrecy in place of anti-secrecy. This modification of our ancient attitude must not be misunderstood. It meant no less hatred of evil practices in secret societies. It served to acknowledge the disappearance of those practices and sprang from the logical devotion to our basic principle taught in our motto of our fraternity, Kaya Upatheti, justice our foundation. Our first exercise in justice to protest against secret societies served its purpose and is no longer necessary. But the battles of justice are infinite, and her champions are ever needed to serve her, both in college and in the world beyond. To forward the ends of enlightened equity demands knowledge and sympathy, a broad mind and a large heart. It is man's work to be done best by those who have enjoyed the twofold education of intellect and character. We have therefore formed ourselves into a fraternity in order to advance justice, promote friendship, develop character, maintain and diffuse local culture, and to promote intellectual, moral, and social improvement. We have expounded to you our ideals, because we believe them to be your ideals also. We bring you to your initiation, wherein you must pledge your allegiance to Delta Upsilon. You must promise to be faithful in every relation of brotherhood. You must solemnly declare before many witnesses your determination to stand for the principles of our fraternity. And you must reflect that the spoken pledge is without any purpose unless your life also exemplifies your words. Therefore, consider carefully that you may approach not unadvisedly to your initiation. The vows once taken are irrevocable. If you are not in thorough sympathy with our ideals, you are at all uncertain in your desire to become a member of this fraternity, you now have the last opportunity to declare yourself. As a manifestation of your willingness to accept the pledges required of members of this fraternity, you will now inscribe your name within this roll book, containing those promises which you are soon to make in the presence of brotherhood.
call you guys up by your name. You will sign a number, your signature, the class, which is fall of 2023, and the date today. So, Ken Burns. Hit loose. Kristen Shaw. Jack Federer. Jake Curry.
As it is our duty to watch over the welfare of our fraternity, it is that it may continue in vigorous life. It behooves us from time to time to add to our members such as men who will honor most our brotherhood. Upon these who stand before us, our choice has fallen. We are now assembled to receive the pledges of their devotion and to seal their acceptance into our brotherhood, not only to those who are received and to us who receive them, but to also those who may come within the influence of this fraternity. These pledges in this nation are now monumental. Since our words and deeds have emerged from being common heritage of acceptance and belief in the supreme being, it is essential and a basic part of our tradition to turn to God in prayer as our founding brothers do.
Let us pray. God of our fathers and our God, who inspired the formation of the Delta Upsilon fraternity with justice as its sure foundation, may we temper the rigor of our present world with a deepened appreciation of the beauty and strength of friendship. May we encourage one another in common concern to be faithful to the highest and best we know. Together enable us to live bravely amid the discouragements of life, seek to acquit ourselves like men and continue to believe in the best, even in the face of failure. May we never use our brotherhood as a means to seek selfish ends and keep us free from cynicism. May no unworthy thoughts or deeds cloud our skies. May our actions never make rough the road for others who walk with us or who would follow. May we never fail to keep faith with those who place their trust in us. Let us renew the vows once made and now shared with these new brothers. Grant us the strength to serve and the moral courage to live more nobly and strive to achieve the maturity of independent minds. May no pettiness or pride of exclusiveness ever keep us from rendering to Delta Upsilon the vision of the highest and noblest purposes as they have emerged from justice, our sure foundation. In all this, we ask thy blessing in the knowledge that the highest ideals and noblest thoughts come from thee. Amen.
Brothers in Delta Upsilon, you have unanimously elected these men to membership in our fraternity. Before proceeding to their initiation, however, it is fitting that we should examine once more our own hearts. In a brotherhood such as ours, a close and lasting friendship must unite all its members, creating such an intimate and permanent influence as shall mold them to a rounded type of manhood. Our past is secure. Our future depends upon our vigilance. We must jealously guard against any who may disturb the harmony of our fraternal life, against any whose presence may lower our standards or becloud our ideals. Therefore, will the members of our chapter please rise? I now challenge each of you in the name of Delta Upsilon. Does any brother know any reason why any of these candidates should not be received into the fellowship of our fraternity? Your silence makes it your duty to remove from your minds all prejudice or feelings which might hinder the discharge of any brotherly obligation. I therefore charge you so to rule your thought and conduct that, in all of your future relations with these men, nothing should mar the trust and brotherly affection which should ever exist between you. Please be seated. Now as to you, who would join our brotherhood this hour, to all of us impressive, to you gentlemen, should be especially solemn. We initiate you into no meaningless secrets, but into a brotherhood founded upon principle, which it is our duty to exemplify in our lives. Dikaiou Patheki, justice, our foundation. The relationship of brotherhood is a sacred one. Its ties are noble, for it has been divinely established by great exemplar as the proper bearing of man toward man. It is therefore the ideal of human relationship, an ideal that we seek to realize in our fraternal life, thereby learning from our fraternity the highest lessons of human duty and opportunity. In this brotherhood, justice is our guiding principle, and as justice is but truth in action. It is our deeds that testify our loyalty to the ideals of our fraternity and our worthiness to conserve the heritage handed down to us by past generations of Delta Upsilon. In 3 centuries now, time has endorsed the enduring value of our principles. In chapters across the United States and Canada, in loyal pursuit of our ideals, we have conserved our heritage and have passed along to our ever-increasing brotherhood the lessons we strive to teach, in uprightness, in nobility, in consideration of others and fair dealing with them, in constant endeavor to promote truth and equity in every relation in which we may be cast. In such ways do the lessons of our fraternity bear their righteous fruit. And to such a brotherhood we offer you the opportunity to enter, but in entering you must pledge undying loyalty to Delta Upsilon and to its ideals. It is, therefore, well that we should here pause to consider those ideals more fully. Brothers and guests, it is my pleasure to introduce the speaker who will be delivering the charge to its candidates.
You guys convinced we're not secret now? Up until the very end, at this very point, I was absolutely convinced there had to be something. Hopefully something cool, but there had to be something secret. But there's not. This is it. So for 155 years now, this chapter, there's an oath and there's an handshake. And that's all it takes. No secrets. So brotherhood, particularly a brotherhood of belief, as we are, begins with meeting and communication and continues with education and personal growth. You have to have tolerance and both a willingness and an ability to listen, and the moral courage to speak and commit when you need to. Brothers do not always agree. I'm sure that any of you with siblings know that. But they're there for each other. They watch out for each other, they support each other, they push each other to be better friends, better students, better sons, better boyfriends, ultimately better husbands and fathers. From an old initiation manual, you are right to ask much of them as they will ask much of you. So for 155 years now, that started with an oath and a handshake. Started for me in this very room with the same oath 41 years ago. My parents gave me an opportunity to go to Miami. Luck and essentially a persistent roommate who wanted free beer because you drink legally then at 18 brought me to DU. And my brothers took it from there. So I believe that my brothers made a difference in my life. I believe that I made a difference in their life. There's a reason that Andrew and I and the other guys you see come around, we keep coming back. We think that it made a difference for us. And we want you guys to have that same opportunity for it to make a difference for you. And I am still friends and still have regular contact with brothers that I was a pledge with. had brothers that were here when I was here that came after me. I've also gotten to know guys, mostly on the alumni board now, but we all had this shared experience, and it's been great. But when I see those guys, and some of them I may not see for 30, 35 years, it's just like it's yesterday. It's amazing. Because we had that shared experience, we know exactly what each other did and what happened to us. You're going to be amazed to see what some of your brothers do. Some of the ones you think are the biggest knuckleheads are going to go on to be massively successful. Some you'll lose contact with. That's just the way of life. But you're going to be surprised. So what I want you to do is, because now you have this opportunity to be a difference for your brothers. So I'm going to ask you to just take that opportunity. Seize that opportunity. Carpe diem. Seize the day. Run it forward. So study when it's time to study. Ask for help when it's time to ask for help. And there will be those times. I certainly have them as well. Party when it's time to party. Clean the house up afterwards. We've all told you guys our main goal is number one, don't get kicked off campus. We've been here the longest continuous straight time of any fraternity on campus. We don't want that then. Number two, don't burn the house down. So it means clean it up, maintain it, upkeep it. Other than that, you guys are going to have different experiences than we did. Things that are important to you, we would have no clue about. 10 years from now, they've got things that are important to those guys you'll have no clue about, but believe me, it all binds you together over a long period of time. So be proud to be part of a tradition that's now more than 150 years old and carry it forward, but remember the traditions. Because it gives us words like this. This is from Brother Frank Clark of 96. May we encourage one another and in common concern be ever faithful to the highest and best we know. May we always seek to acquit ourselves as men and continue to believe in ourselves, even in the face of failure. May our actions never make rough the road for others who walk with us or who would follow. May we never fail to keep faith with those who place their trust in us. Grant us the strength to serve and the moral courage to live more nobly and strive to achieve the maturity of independent minds. May our mutual regard increase as time shall heighten our appreciation of the noble sentiments which has made us brothers by choice. May justice, culture, and morality be the motives of our lives, and may the bonds forged today unite us forever and resolve to attain that goal of true manhood, aspiration towards which is the sign and seal of our fraternity. That's Brother Frank Clark, 1896. 130-something years ago. So you've got your opportunity now to do this ceremony, keep the traditions, keep the ceremonies. Other than that, have a great time. Enjoy your time here with the brothers. And welcome to the Burley.
I ask that the candidates please rise. Brother Master, I present to you these candidates to be admitted to fellowship in the Delta Upsilon Fraternity. They have made their preliminary declarations, and having learned the nature of the pledges, I prepare to take them.
The pledges I now propose to you, you must take upon your word of honor to hold them sacred and inviolable forever. Each candidate will individually pronounce I and their full name, and then in unison, repeat after me. I,
Jacob Christian Jar, Amy Cluse,
of my own free will and accord, in the presence of God and of these witnesses,
in the presence of God and these witnesses,
do hereby solemnly declare that the principles of this fraternity, as they have been explained to me, accord entirely with my own views, and I solemnly promise that as a member of this fraternity, I will faithfully adhere to those principles, endeavoring in every way to perfect myself, morally, intellectually, and socially, and endeavoring also to act towards others, according to that high standard of conduct,
according to the high standard of conduct
required by the fraternity.
required by the fraternity.
I solemnly promise that I will be loyal
I solemnly promise that I will be loyal
to the Delta Upsilon fraternity
to the Delta Upsilon fraternity
and to this chapter,
and to the chapter,
abiding by their rules,
abiding by the rules,
discharging my obligations to them faithfully,
discharging my obligations to them faithfully,
and using all honorable means
and using all honorable means
to promote their interests.
to promote their interests.
I solemnly promise that I will share with my brothers
I solemnly promise that I will share with my brothers
the duties of my chapter,
the duties of my chapter,
that I will uphold and encourage them
that I will uphold and encourage them
in all that is honorable and right,
in all that is honorable and right,
that I will ever extend to each brother
and I will ever extend to each brother
the right hand of sympathy,
a right hand of sympathy,
and that at all times and in all circumstances,
and at all times and all circumstances,
I will endeavor to cultivate those sentiments
I will endeavor to cultivate those sentiments
which should ever exist between brothers.
which should ever exist between brothers.
All this I solemnly promise upon my honor,
All this I solemnly promise upon my honor,
without any equivocation,
without any equivocation,
mental reservation,
mental reservation,
or secret evasion of mind whatsoever.
or secret evasion of mind whatsoever.
Brothers, we are all witnesses to these pledges. Do you, before God, and in the presence of these witnesses, acknowledge the signature which you've subscribed herein to the pledges just now repeated? If so, you will answer to your name, I do. Jack Federer,
I do.
Christian Chung,
I do.
Aiden Cluse,
I do.
Ben Burns,
I do.
Jake Curry.
I do.
Receive and wear this badge in token of your membership in the Delta Upsilon fraternity. I extend you the right hand of fellowship.
Jack Federer.
Christian Chung.
Inclus. Ben Burns. Jake Curry.
Initiates of Delta Upsilon, you have this day received a distinction which is granted to few men, decoration with the insignia of our fraternity. It marks the confidence which we repose in you. May the ties which it symbolizes strengthen perpetually, and may its possession instill in you the spirit of undying loyalty to Delta Upsilon. By virtue of this authority vested in me, I now declare you members of the Delta Upsilon fraternity. I ask that all brothers in Delta Upsilon please stand. For as much as these men have now become your brothers, it is your part and duty to aid them in their struggle towards a larger life, to recall to their minds with solemn pledges they have just now taken before this company, to instruct, reprove, and admonish them with all kindness, according to the principles of our fraternity and the truth that is in you, and to share with them the benefits and duties of life together. You may be seated. And as for you who have been newly received in our fraternal circle, it is your part and duty to bear in mind that you are now one with us in principle and purpose. You are to share with us the privileges and divide with us the responsibilities of faithful service in Delta Upsilon. May your zeal in its cause never flag. May your sympathy with its interests ever grow deeper. May our mutual regard increase as time shall heighten our appreciation of the noble sentiments which have made us one. May justice, culture, and morality be the motives of your lives, as they have been the motives of our union. May the bonds forged today unite us forever in sturdy resolve to attain that goal of true manhood, aspiration towards which is the sign and seal of our fraternity. This concludes the rite of initiation. With great pride, I now present our newest brothers in Delta Upsilon.